Men, what do you think is more painful than childbirth?
I'm a burn survivor. In 1973 I was involved over 85% of total body surface, 15% of that total was third degree, meaning all layers of skin were burning. My shipmates put me out with a mattress cover. I spent the next 18 months in hospitals. After becoming stable, about 2 weeks, I underwent daily debridement of dead tissue. Lowered into a stainless steel T-shaped tank filled 1/3 with saline, the nurses cut away all the bandaging and then using scissors and scalpels cut away all the detritus. If you ever need to torture an enemy agent, burn the back of their hands till all the skin is black. Rip off all that dead skin and wrap the tissue in gauze soaked in sterile saline, and wrap that in more cling bandage. Wait 24 hours. Dip the hand into salt water and remove all the bandage to the layer of gauze. Rip the gauze off, one finger at a time. I promise the agent will give you every truth he knows.
There's no way they could put you under for all that.
I had a pressure ulcer that went down to the bone after a coma, required many debridements to cut out slough tissue. One time they didn't adequately numb the area before cutting. The world went white and I wished someone nearby would stop screaming. A second later I realized it was me.
They have to push down on the mother's stomach after giving birth to get some of the excess blood out. Multiple times. Think CPR but on the stomach. My wife said that was 10x worse than the birth part. I'm going to go with that.
Or that first poo after labor. Constipation due to painkillers and meds combined with the recent trauma down there. It's bad. Like really bad.
My wife thought the last month of pregnancy was worse than giving birth. She said giving birth was more painful for that day, but the constant tiredness and back pain was a worse experience for her. Makes me think of all those people, especially old people, with long-term ailments having to go on each day with pain.
Pregnancy is so much worse than childbirth. ATA. For me personally. If I could go through childbirth twice instead of 38 weeks of pregnancy, first 2 don't count, followed by childbirth, I might have another kid. But yeah, it does say a lot about chronic pain.
Getting flayed alive. Flayed alive, flayed alive.
Acute radiation poisoning, the level that you get from holding cobalt-60 too long, or what killed Daglian and Slotin after the Demon Core incidents.
Just watch Chernobyl on HBO and see what the radioactive graphite did to the firefighters that touched it. A quickly spreading burning over your whole body just to be tricked into thinking you're getting better for a few days, and then your body literally begins breaking itself down.
According to several studies, being on fire.
89% of people on fire have said they would rather be having a baby. Wife said kidney stone was at least the same as childbirth, natural, maybe worse.
I gave birth twice without an epidural twice. Second time the baby was partially breached and got stuck in the birth canal. Meaning I pushed her head out of my cervix and it partially receded back into me because the body couldn't come out after it. So the baby's whole body was just stuck in my cervix a while until the doctors broke some of bones so she'd be more malleable so they could maneuver her out. Having a full-term baby stuck in the cervix is not pleasant. Especially not in an induced labor which has artificially strong and persistent contractions. But I have also had gallstones, and I will say, as many women have, that they were more painful than childbirth. I believe kidney stones are too. Or at least most women say so.
Sawing of a limb without anesthesia.
Not so fun fact. This was the way amputations were done through all of human history up until the invention of modern anesthesia less than 200 years ago. There were of course various herbal aids, and some parts of the world had opium from poppies, but those are not at all comparable to what we have today. In the Victorian period, one of the most highly revered talents of a surgeon was being able to saw very quickly. A doctor named Robert Liston was famed as the fastest knife in the West End, and hopeful patients would sometimes camp outside his office with the goal of getting him to do the sawing. He actually had a fascinating career, and multiple books have been written about him. Here's an informative article. Link. Occasionally, Liston's speed and showmanship actually were a hindrance to his operations. Once, he took a patient's testicles off along with the leg that was being amputated. His most famous, and possibly apocryphal, mishap was the operation where he was moving so fast that he took off a surgical assistant's fingers as he cut through a leg and, while switching instruments, slashed a spectator's coat. The patient and the assistant both died from infections of their wounds, and the spectator was so scared that he'd been stabbed that he died of shock. The fiasco is said to be the only known surgery in history with a 300% mortality rate.
Acute radiation poisoning. Fun fact, it's impossible to administer painkillers effectively. Once your body starts decomposing with you still alive inside of it, there's nothing but pain left.
Man, that was so fun. What a fun fact to read. I'm going to assume torture.
My mom had to get her wisdom teeth removed as a teenager without any anesthetic, and she told me that was more painful.
That sounds like a torture technique, not a medical procedure.
According to my wife, it was gallstones. But she also had an epidural and couldn't feel the baby being born at all. She did feel a few heavy contractions before they got the epidural placed though. I've dealt with gallstones in the past. Yeah, those effing hurt. Being skinned alive and covered in salt. That's gotta qualify, right? Edit. Your offerings of karma are much appreciated, mortals.
Now if we're getting technical, I think so. Imagine they put some paprika or red chili flakes on top of that.
Cluster headaches, link. Also known as suicide headaches. People will kill themselves just to stop the pain. It's horrible. Edit. Thanks for the rewards and DMs, but I personally don't suffer from this. My wife does though. She often talks about ending it when she has an attack. Luckily she hasn't done anything yet. But in all honesty I wouldn't blame her if she did. It's horrible to go trough, even more horrible to watch knowing there's F all you can do.
Yeah, that's the one I was looking for. Here, link. My understanding is most people who have gone through both consider it significantly worse than childbirth.
I feel like I've been preparing for a decade to answer this question. I was once a member of a migraine sufferers forum. On that forum there was a page discussing the pain of a migraine. I favorited that page years ago, but it no longer seems to work. Link. One forum member, who was evidently both a migraine sufferer and a mother, stated that having experienced both, she would compare the pain level of her worst migraine to giving birth to a Volkswagen. No doubt this isn't a universal experience for people who've experienced both, but I wanted to share as the line has stuck with me for years. Edit. Thanks to Randon for the archive. Here's the original post, from November 2004. Holy poobles, I can't believe it was that long ago. Greater than maybe as painful as giving birth to a Volkswagen. It's a different kind of pain in a couple of ways. When you are having a baby, there is something good to look forward to. When migraining, the excruciating pain is just that. Pain, nausea, auras, photo and sound sensitivity, etc., etc., with no reward at the end of it. Only to be endured as best as you can. Hoping and praying for an end, and a better day to follow. Plus, having migraine disease is in a class by itself. When your head hurts that bad, you literally can't think. Anyhow, I know that I can't. Okay, I would say that a migraine is like taking a bowling ball, having somebody drop it on your head from a 10-story building and then getting an elephant to stomp the breath out of you. Do that around the clock every 15 minutes for days at a time. That's how bad it hurts. All credit to *Magic Mom. I have no idea who you are, but you've given me many laughs over the last 2 decades. I hope your migraines have improved. I imagine stillbirth would be even worse. Suffering the physical torment and with any mental anguish, that's normal, but the emotional pain of stillbirth on top of that. Yeah, I imagine that to be quite unbearable. Edit. To any and all who do not agree with this position, try and remember one thing. The question posed what was more painful, not what was most painful. That's something of an individual perception that's hard to agree on, no matter who you are.
Thank you for watching. We upload new videos every day, so be sure to come back for more fun. Please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed the video.